Um, okay, Shadi.
Hi guys, welcome to the Q&A section of the last webinar, the dental student webinar. So I guess we can start with questions for Nima because he has to leave soon. So if you guys have any questions for him, just shoot it in the chat. I remember I had a question, but I forget. So anyone else have a question?
Nima, for now, is there anything that you wanted to like elaborate on? Any other advice or tips that you have yourself as like a student, or just life in general, that you wanted to share with us?
Okay. Something that I mentioned as a joke, but I actually meant it. Really look into Stoicism. It's pretty interesting. Like that how much you can control your emotions, not getting too happy, like not getting too sad, not getting too carried away with stuff that is happening in your life. It is very important. I think like it's one of the most important skills in life, regardless of what you end up doing in your career. Your career does not define you. But yeah, that is very important. But besides that, if anyone, and I'm not implying that you are not, but if anyone is serious about dentistry or any other career, I'm not saying fully commit to it and have a tunnel vision, but before committing to it, make sure to do your research. Make sure to ask the questions from people around you. It's a lot of investment of money and time, energy, emotions. So honestly, shadow as many dentists as possible. I'm not saying just go to one dentist and shadow him for 2 years. No, shadow different people, maybe work for a day or so. Shadow general dentist, shadow a specialist, get the full context of what dentistry is all about. A couple of the most successful dental students that I know in my class, not that that's the requirement to being successful, but I think that's definitely a contributing factor, are those who started their journey of becoming a dentist, not just after they got into dental school, but before they were in dental school. So they volunteered in dental clinics, they worked in dental clinics. Like one of your previous guests that also happens to be my next door neighbor right now, because she has started dental school at Western, Nikki. It's a fantastic example of a very well-rounded person, worked in dental practice, did her research, and knew why she wanted dentistry. It's a lot of investment, and you don't want to start dentistry, because I have seen a lot of people, unfortunately, who start dentistry and halfway there, they're like, holy shit, I didn't know this is what I didn't like about dentistry, and oh, I hate working with my hands, or oh, I hate interacting with people on a daily basis. And it's okay, and it's totally okay. But you're halfway there, you spent more than $100,000 that you're not getting back. So before committing, do your research. And my experience tells me that unless some guy or gal is just a dick, everyone is willing to help. Everyone is trying to answer your questions as best as they can, because they have gone through it with good or bad experiences. If you ask the right questions, everyone, dental student, dentist, who's a recent grad, or like a 40-year-old dentist, everyone is nice. Everyone is trying to help. Yes, there are some people in the middle that maybe they're not willing to help, but overall, my understanding so far, if I can say that I've been in dental industry one way or another since 2015 or 16, I've never met anyone who wasn't willing to help, who wasn't willing to answer questions. If you were persistent enough, if you were nice enough to them, and if you asked the right questions. So yeah.
Sorry, guys. I think Carney has a question. You can just unmute Carney if you'd like.
Yeah, so my question was if you guys ever had a plan B in case you didn't get into dentistry, or did you just want to keep trying until you got in?
Yasha, would you mind if I answer this question because I got to leave in like 5 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, man. So my plan B was dentistry. But to get there, I actually applied for a master's degree in dental sciences at U of T. And I actually got it a couple of weeks before I got my acceptance to Western. So I had everything lined up. I knew I was going to do a 1 year long master's degree in dentistry. But I got my acceptance to Western. So I had to kind of, I cannot say if I regret it or happy with that decision, but the fact that I had my acceptance to dental school in my hand, I was like, okay, I gotta accept it. So I would say if you are, it's always good. It's always a good idea to have plan Bs for everything. But besides that, if you're committed to dentistry, maybe plan your plan Bs towards dentistry, not something unrelated, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So for me, my plan A to start with was research, but then after finishing it and getting exposure to it, that slowly got changed. The more I talked with with dentists, other dental students, so dentistry slowly became my plan A, and the research kind of took the backseat and became my plan B. But I will tell you that, like looking back, I'm really glad that I stuck with going into the industry and making my plan A happen. Just because if it didn't happen, then I could have gone and done research. But even through the research lab that I was working at York, it became very apparent to me that I made the right choice. Just because all the things that had bothered me in the fields, just reading just by myself and like writing your thesis and everything. I mean, I could do it, but I didn't really enjoy it. Like I couldn't imagine myself doing it for 20, 25 years until I retired. So that really reiterated my choice of, okay, like going into the industry, I need to make it happen. So even though you have plan B, plan C, it becomes very difficult once you're living it. So I think as Nima said, you want to play to your strength and see how your strengths relate to dentistry. For example, you can pick hobbies that work on your dexterity. So drawing, sculpting, playing instruments, fixing bikes. It doesn't matter as long as you're using your hands. Dentistry also, you're going to be working with people, patients, and also your staff, other staff. So getting experiences that exposes you to that aspect of dentistry is very helpful. You can put it as your extracurricular, and you're also learning more about the aspects of the field that you're going to want to get into in the future. So yeah, I think that's very important. But yeah, that's it for me.
Guys, I have a question. I want to say from Nima, who said he likes entrepreneurship. I kind of was just thinking about that because I hear a lot like, okay, you're gonna be opening your own business. Like I know you're a dentist, but it's gonna be a whole business that you're opening. So like, what are some, I don't know, how should we like, what are some extracurriculars that we can do related to business? I've been trying to look into, I'm a science student. I don't know anything about business, but like I've been trying to like see if I can go shadow a bank teller. I don't know something in business. I don't know where it would be a good idea to go, because in the dental office, the dentists are so focused on their like doing the dental stuff, so they won't talk to you about it. I want to go to a professional. It's like, what do you suggest?
Same story with me. Like I learned very late that I needed to know some stuff about business to run my practice. So you're not the only person, and pretty much everyone is like that. I would say upwards of 90% of dental students. There was a study actually in 2018. It was published in Journal of Dental Education that says upwards of 95% of dental students, they don't know anything about business. And dental schools are doing a terrible job, which is intentional. I don't want to get into politics of it, but they're terrible in teaching business, in teaching administration, management, any sort of skills that are real life situation. So I wouldn't say like necessarily going and shadowing a professional would help. Just the mere interest. 'Cause sometimes when you have your eyes open about anything business related, you start to attract them. I'm not talking about The Secret book or anything like that. I'm just saying that start by maybe buying a few business related books. For example, I would say like there's this book called Personal MBA. It's a pretty good book. It's not that heavy. It's quite a long book, I would say, last time I remember, but it's a good book. Like if you just Google anything about business, how to start a small business, because dentistry in heart is more of a small business. So just Google, honestly, Google your best friend. Audiobooks are your best friends. Books in general are your best friends. And also when you have enough information to act on it, there will be opportunities. Like as soon as I started talking about business in dental school, and we had this club called Debbie, which is about dentistry and business and entrepreneurship, I immediately found a few connections in dental industry. And this summer I actually did in business world, working with like soft companies that serve the dental practitioners. So it's never too late. Just start whenever you can and start with the basics. You don't want to go and shadow an accountant or like a lawyer. You will get to talk to them too, but you don't need to shadow them. You just got to talk to them. So you know what is your relationship potentially in the future with them. Any dentist has a team of professionals that they have. A lawyer, an accountant are one of the must-haves. A good lawyer and a good accountant, especially those who specialize in the world of dentistry. Not many people know this, but a lot of lawyers, a lot of accountants or insurance guys, they focus heavily on dental markets because dentists are high-paying professionals. So yeah. By the way, I think it's my time to go. Again, thank you so much. It was like happy to do these sorts of talks. It's pretty fun. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, please don't be a stranger. My Instagram, whatever, reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Yeah, let me know if you wanted to do this again. I'll be down unless there was some sort of like a conflict of like schedule conflict. But yeah, again, thank you so much, guys. Good luck. Also, thank you for Yasha for showing up. It was great to meet you. Hopefully, I can meet you sometimes in person.
It's very nice meeting you.
Yeah, maybe this summer. Next summer I'll be in Toronto at U of T. So maybe I'll see you there.
Looking forward to it.
Take care. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone
good night.
from the team.
Thank you.
You did great.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right.
So Yasha, you can continue on with the same question.
Sure. So for me, I would say exposure is very important. When I didn't, the first time that I didn't get in when I applied, I just wanted to see what else is out there. So I went through 3 years of undergrad and I didn't know anything else outside of studying. So what I did was to search up Meetup and Eventbrite, just seminars and workshops, and I would sign up for anything that I found even remotely interesting. So anything on branding, anything on working like forming a team, anything on so there's a bunch of places downtown like DBZ. They do more of starting your own business and how to go about forming a team, where you go about finding people. So you can find seminars like that on Eventbrite and Meetup, and just to get exposure and just become aware of what's out there. And as Nima mentioned, audiobooks and just reading books and audiobooks and knowing about the different things that is available to you, or the path that you can take in the different aspects of running a business, that can also help. But the biggest thing, yeah, you want to get exposure in the beginning. I didn't know anything about like investing in stock market and beforehand, but slowly I sort of learned along the way. In dental school, I actually started an account, an investing account, and I just wanted to learn about like how the game is played. So I started with very little money, because you don't want to go in with a lot of money. That's the money you invest that you expect to lose. So I started with 250. You can start that even with less money than that. It's just to have some skin in the game and learn the ropes as you go along. But the biggest thing is exposure, and you just need to sign up and or get the resources that are out there, and go through them, see what you get out of them. But don't I would say that don't rush to the business side of it too quickly, because you get that exposure. Definitely in dentistry, there are a lot of big companies, especially insurance company, finance company, that want your business. So they would come, they would have seminars, talks, webinars. So you get that exposure in dental school, although it's not a lot. I agree with Nima that there's not a lot of resources that is provided to you in dental school, but there is some, and you just have to see what interests you in that talk or that webinar, and sort of follow up and find other resources and get more exposure.
Yeah, those are really good. I was writing them all down. I was writing that. What was the, is it called, did you say it was called the BDZ?
DBZ,
Something.
so it's
BBC.
DBZ,
Oh,
DBZ.
DBZ. Okay.
It's a place at Yonge and Dundas. You know the theater? It's on
Yeah.
the 6th floor building, like of that building. And they do a lot of talks on people that do Amazon. I went to a talk by, the Second Closet, the guy that started the company Second Closet, and they come and they talk about their experience. There's this group called the Loser Lab, and basically it's they invite people and they talk about what didn't go right in their journey, basically. So when did they lose along the way, and they come and talk about their mistakes that they made. But yeah, I think check out Eventbrite. Eventbrite, I found a lot of very nice talks and seminars. I used to attend in person back before COVID, but now I think they have webinars, which makes it much easier. But yeah, they have some great speakers. They come and you get exposure to the journey of different people and in starting their companies.
Yeah, that would be quite interesting. I've been trying to look for it. It's just after COVID happened, everything just kind of shut down. So like you look and then they're like, oh, sorry, we will let you know in the fall what we're doing. So that's just a disappointment, but I will look into the audiobooks and see when things open up. Someone asked, what was the name of the company that helped for the dental journey?
Was it the audiobook that?
It was
Was-
not the dental journey. I think she's talking about the losers lab, I guess, because they were just
Oh.
talking about what went wrong in their journey.
Yeah, I think it doesn't necessarily have to be related to the dental field. Yeah, it was called the Loser Lab. So it's a series of talks where they invite speakers who have started a company. Loser Lab. No, I think it's something like that. Maybe it's with a Z instead of a S. I just remember the name, but if you Google that, and it might come up.
Mhm.
But yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be dental related, just because some aspects of starting a business is the same across the board. Basically, finding the right people to work with, finding the right resources, the bookkeeping. So there's a lot of similarities between if you want to start your practice and other businesses in other fields. So it doesn't matter what exposure you get. That's what I found out. So I went to a seminar, a workshop on branding, and they talked about other branding. And obviously in dentistry, you are going to do some branding and marketing. So getting exposure to those fields can be beneficial, just because opening up your office will require all of those as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've also been looking into some kinds like interior design, psychology, things like that, just to like get a good sense of as much as I can before I get into the field itself, while I have time, because I feel like when you do get into your business, it takes a lot of your time because you're working all the time.
Yeah, no, those stuff actually help, because in the book I recommended, they talk about that as well. Like you want to have the right feel for your office, for your clients. So for example, if you're doing pediatric dentistry, your office is going to be so much different than if your practice kind of tailors to seniors versus another one that you might just cater to high-end rich people. And so your location and where like how your office looks might be very different. So yeah. Another thing I also wanted to mention, you guys also might want to look into preparing for the interview. That's what I've found, because you don't think about it a lot in undergrad because marks are the most important. But when you do get the marks, the next step is the interview. Because yeah, once you get to the interview stage, again, you all made it to that stage, and then it becomes who does better in the interview. So I think for me, looking back, I think the interview, I had a week to prepare for it. And especially the MMI is just a different type of style of interview. So I wasn't used to it. And I think that might have been what was detrimental with the weak point in my first time. Might have contributed to me not getting in. After that, I what's it called? MedCoach. That was a company I used for booking students who have been accepted to dental school and med school, and they coach you on the interview and the style, and they go through the questions. So that was very helpful.
I had a question for you about the DAT. Did you say you took the American DAT?
No, I wrote the Canadian.
Oh, the Canadian. Oh, because I'm trying to take the American one just to be safe, just like so it can apply to like all universities, because now the Canadian ones are also accepting the American school one.
Yes.
So like, is there any tips that you have? Like, do you think I should focus more on practicing tests? Like, should I do practice tests, or should I focus more on reading the material and like keep rehearsing and memorizing it? What is like the best tactic that worked for you?
So for me, so my as I said, my weak points, the chemistry, the watching the videos from DAT Bootcamp, that helped me a lot in terms of understanding it, and I didn't have to go through the textbook a lot, just because the video did such a great job in explaining it. When I was going through, I mean, I still went through the textbook, but it made the understanding a lot easier. So I went through it a lot quicker. The biology I did on my own, and the reading comprehension, you don't have a lot of chances to practice just because it's just reading. So you need to get better at reading faster and seeing, you know, how much you're comprehending at the end of it. So I just picked up journals and started reading them, like just quickly scanning them, because there are strategies that I think even in the DAT Bootcamp, they go through the different strategies that you can use for improving your reading comprehension section, and I applied those to just articles from journals, just science journals, or it doesn't have to be science journals, because they can put any article in the reading comprehension section. So it's just a variety of articles that you can get your hands on. And then I knew that Princeton, they have, I think you can do 3 or 4 tests. And what they do is the questions that they take from the different sections from the biology or chemistry, they will tell you, let's say, like, you know, the phases, so the gases and solids, that was your weak area. Then, like, those questions you got wrong the most, the test, the analysis at the end, it will tell you, so you can better prepare for it. So you can study those more intensely than the ones that you're strong at. So I like that about the Princeton package. So I wanted to get the test, and I wanted to get the textbook, but they wanted me to also, I had to take 3 hours of tutoring, just because the test and the text usually come with their classes. Like, you have to go in and they teach, like, in class. But I didn't want to, like, I wanted to go at my own pace, but to get the package, I still had to get the 3 hour tutoring. So I used the 3 hour tutoring to focus toward my reading comprehension. So my tutor he really did well in that section.
I had a question.
Sure.
So you applied to U of T Dental after 3 years of your psych undergrad, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you apply to any other dental schools at all, or just U of T?
So for me, I did apply to other schools. U of T at that time was my main one, just because I knew they only look at marks, and they look at the AT marks and interview. Those were the 3 that once you score high enough, you can have a good chance of getting in. But I also applied for Miguel. I wrote the Casper, and I had to prepare my personal statement. I wanted to apply for Western and Dalhousie, but I didn't have a lot of the prerequisites done at that time. I also applied for Alberta, and I did the carving, but I think on the test I made a mistake, and right then I knew that, like, that application was done, because it didn't go well. But yeah, I think I scored well in Miguel in terms of academic. The Casper and the personal statement and all the other stuff, I didn't score high enough to get to that 33 first people that they invite. So I got the interview at U of T, and that's why I say I think it was the interview that I didn't perform as well or didn't score as high as all the other applicants that year. But yeah, I applied again. So the second time I only applied to U of T just because I got to that stage with U of T. I only applied to U of T, and I really focused on getting that interview, like putting a lot of practice in getting that right. I think there was a bunch of questions that came in.
So there was one question that said, what would be your advice for those who are a bit older but still have not been successful with their dental applications?
I would say if if you really want to go that path, it is possible, but you really need to know yourself and know why the application hasn't been successful. Because I don't think age is a big factor. I mean, I definitely, for me, it wasn't right off the first undergrad, and I had a long journey before I got to that point. But looking back, and my friends ask me this a lot. So I did really well in my York undergrad compared to the first undergrad at U of T. And I attribute that to the fact that I had made the decision that I wanted to go into dental school. And that really helped me to sit down and study and get the job done, basically. Like, I was there only for the marks, and I had no other reason to have another undergrad. It was only to get the marks and be competitive. So I knew exactly going in. And the first time that I didn't get in, I kind of suspected, okay, like, my marks can get me to the interview. The reason I didn't get in must be because I didn't do as well as other applicant in the interview. So that's something I need to practice. So that's what I did. So I think it has to do, like, yeah, age I don't think has a lot to do with whether you're successful in the applications. Even if you're not successful, I think just analyzing it and reflecting on how, like, where your weaknesses are and working on those, I think you will have a good chance.
There was also another question saying that, do you think the companies that are for med schools such as MedCoach could also help with dental school applications?
Oh yeah. So I use MedCoach just because, so there are also dental students on there. I know it's called MedCoach. Majority of them are med students, but both medicine and dental school, they use the same style of MMI. And I think, yeah, after McMaster came up with it, now all the universities, that's the style that they use across the board. So they can all help you. Like, I actually had some coaches. So I took sessions with different people just because I wanted to get different advice from different references. And some of them were, I think one of them was dental student, two of them were medicine. But they all had gone through the interview. They've gone through the same style of interview, the MMI. And yeah, they just basically walk you through the scenario. So the MMI is just a series of scenarios that they give you, and you want to do a good job in terms of looking at all the aspects, all the people that are involved, and come up with how you would approach it. So they will give you advice, that will walk you through different examples. So they will listen to your answer and they build on it. And over time, you get better.
Okay, sure. I have a weird question to ask. I don't know if you know the answer to this, Why are like dental students considered different doctors than every other doctor? And like, how come the health system doesn't think that dentists should be like covered by insurance? What is the difference between it? That's my question.
So I think that's a very big debate in terms of yeah, that topic, because a major um, major section of our course, so we have a dental public health section course that we talk about this type of stuff. And um, honestly, there's no one right answer for it. It's just I think there was a lot of pushback on both sides. So in terms of like being covered by insurance or being covered by OHIP, I think maybe they when they medicine, the field of medicine went through that, and they wanted to apply it to the dental field, dentists didn't feel like they weren't as receptive to it. But the talk is still there. My professor, like he would bring it up a lot during the year and kind of ask our opinions of it. But honestly, I don't know. Just because dentistry is not that different. It's not an isolated kind of. You're not only isolated to the mouth. You have to know about the system, and because you're doing surgery on the mouth. But if the person has hypertension, if that person has diabetes, if the, any other number of comorbidities that the person might have, you need to be aware of it because it affects your like it affects the drug metabolism. It affects like healing, it's like wound healing. So you need to be aware of those conditions as well. So it's not, you're not just doing work in the mouth. You need to be aware of the other conditions as well.
Thank you so much. I think we covered all the questions pretty much. Someone mentioned that back in the day, dentistry was considered surgery that was performed by your barber. Yeah, I heard about that too. I forget the context of it though.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go get your haircut and get an extraction at the same time.
Yeah, because barbers were like the only people who could have sharp tools like that. Yeah.
Guys, interesting story. How I became interested in dentistry is after watching Charlie Chaplin. There's this one like a movie where he has like this tall friend. I don't know if it's his friend or just some guy he found on the street, but I just remember them trying to pull out his tooth, and he was a big guy, so he was trying everything, and I was like, oh, like this is so funny. And just because of the humor of it, I just like became interested in it. It's so silly, but I was really young, and I was just like, oh, this is so funny. I wish I could do this with someone.
That's a nice experience. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much,
No,
Yasha, for presenting. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I'm very glad I was able to be here, and yeah, you guys are a good bunch, and yeah, I think you guys are gonna do great. And yeah, then I'm really glad, like looking back, I chose this career because I find it that I love every aspect of it. I like working with my hands. I like working with people, and yeah, like as Nima has said before, you should get all the experiences and like know exactly what you're getting into, and yeah, just keep at it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions for Yasha, you can email him. Sarma or Rusty, you can put the email again in the chat for anyone who missed it. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. I definitely learned a lot hearing from you, and I really enjoyed listening to your advice and your knowledge that you've had. definitely you have a lot of expertise, and it was really great hearing from someone like you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hopefully I can get to see you guys, those who are applying next year. So next year is my last year, but you guys can be, for those of you who are applying, yeah, you can be first years next year.
Yeah, we're gonna come after you for your notes. We're gonna be in
All right.
dental school.
Oh, trust me, there is, so they have these academic packages that you pay for. So it's $250, but you can share with friends, and they have all the past tests. And these
Wow.
packages were started by actually the faculty. So back in the day, they didn't have a lot of practice tests. So over the years, they've accumulated these. So every year we pass along the notes and the tests that we've done, and it's been built. There's tests like from 2008, 2009. So it's a substantial amount of information.
Practice, yeah. That's really cool. I will note that down for when,
Yeah,
hopefully when
no,
I get into dental school.
Once you get into dental school, they take care of you in terms of providing you with the resources to succeed. There's
Yeah.
a lot of hand holding and pulling you through the year.
I was wondering who gives you these past tests? Is it just like among students, or do the teachers share it with you?
So there's two student groups. One is ZIP and one is called OA. They're like fraternities. And once you join, you can become a member to one of these. Some people become member of both. They serve different purposes, and you can buy the package, and it has all the, like, it has notes and sort of like what to expect in the class, and what are the teachers like, and how much time you need to put in that class. So all that is they keep adding every year. They keep adding. So this year we went through a second year. The incoming second year will probably have our notes and our tests that we did. So all this is going to be provided for you in dentistry.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, I think that was pretty much it for the questions. Yeah, again, if you have any other questions that you want to ask, you can message him, or if you'd like, you can message us and we can forward your question over to him. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for those of you, the participants who stayed throughout the duration of the webinar. I really appreciate you guys showing up. Anyone who wishes to be a general member can join with the link in our bio on our Instagram, and stay tuned for future webinars. Hopefully we can maybe have you again, Yasha, sometime in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be very happy to come again. Thank you guys for inviting me tonight. And if you have any questions, you have my email. Just shoot me an email, and then hopefully I can answer your questions. And all the best to you guys in your applications. And honestly, just don't stress. So I invigilated on some of the people who came for interviews, sort of like as a student guide. And like, I tell you guys what I told them. It's just, when you get to that interview place, like, all your hard work, everything, it essentially, like, it rides on the 30 minutes. Like, you're there, you answer 3 questions. At least that was it for me. After the first time I didn't get in, it was like, wow, all that hard work and 30 minutes kind of determine everything, right? So when you get there, you just relax, and you want to take it easy. You don't want to stress yourself, and you just want to be sharp and get through it. And I think the same goes for undergrad. Like, I know it can be stressful. It's very stressful being outside of it than compared to inside, but you just need to focus and kind of bring up your reasons as to why you're doing this, and that will help you get through it.
Thank you.
so much.
Shadi,
Okay,
I think we can start